Hi, hello, and welcome to the Consularship Report brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. This is for, I was sent to, my name is Serene Priestess Abossi. I'll be your oracle today. I was sent to deliberate your findings for the solar ingress into Leo. And this is going to be for Capricorn rising. If you do not know your rising, start with your North Node. Everything else becomes far less accurate unless it's a special month for you or you have a special chart. So for Capricorn rising, the sun is going to be transiting the eighth house. So there's going to be energy information about the battle. Now, the battle is not always conflict with external entities. It can be secrets that we keep from ourselves and others, or just ourselves. It's the shadow. So this are typically things that we project onto others because of our own ignorance or our own fears. It can also be embattled energy. So it can be not really in understanding about enemies, but what happens between enemies. It can also be something that's chronic and terminal, whether it's a disease, and a dis-ease is not always like a physical ailment. It can be a spiritual affliction as well. It's karma, but it's karma that is plaguing our life because it's stuck and it's unhealed. So typically, I would just say the eighth house is the house of transmutation because we have to heal. Now, it is also the house of the dark night of the soul, but sometimes the dark night of the soul is just things that catch us off guard. Okay, some of us are actually healed or healing or high vibrational, even if we used to have a few karmic lessons. So it's different for different folks. It's the same energy, however. I just saw the devil card and there's the seven of cups. So the seven of cups is Venus in Scorpio. We'll be deliberating the findings from Los Scarabellos Vita Civile Italiana. Okay. Careful, girl. The cat will not leave me alone today. I don't know what's going on. So we have the seven of cups here, which is suppression. Okay, suppression. Typically, it's projection or delusion, illusion, confusion, something delulu, crazy, loco. Okay. We also have this Cavalier di Spada. That's the Knight of Swords. Re de Nari, that's the King of Pentacles. And then we have the Scorpio card. So this is interesting. Even though we're dealing with Capricorn energy, there's a lot going on for Scorpio here. So during the Leo season, Scorpio is like a squaring energy. So that's some kind of adversarial nature. When there's not an enemy in the form of a human, or when it's not something that's being adversarial per se, whether it's a human or not, it can be something that's going on that's like sideways to our perspective, kind of like something from the periphery that jumps out at it, or something that comes at us from a side or view or way that we didn't see. I'm hearing this insurance term called risk is everything that you could not be accounted for. Okay, risk is everything that could not be accounted for. So what is a risk? A risk is the accumulation of perils. Perils are potentialities of loss. Oriani, Tika. Give me just a second. Oriani. Sorry, baby. You're using the nails again, honey. I gotta set you down. Don't be upset with me, honey. Let's go ahead and lay right there. Okay. He's a little needy right now, so. Okay, and then we have this Five of Pentacles. So something's being stripped or there's some kind of forced changes here, and it's coming in pretty quickly. So it can be that we are quickly making changes or we need to see some opportunity for change here because we're up against some energy that is big, it's bold, it's bodacious, and it's ego, and it's of an opposing mind. Two of Swords, either they're not connected in the heart or the heart's not going all the way up to the intellect, reason, and communication, or the heart is closed. Probably have an opposing mind because we have the Queen of Cups, they have the Queen of Wands. Even if it's not an actual person, I'm just going to say the other side, the other. So the thing is, when the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups are out, the battle between those two is one is actually more adored and the other one is just more adorned. So what's the difference between adorned and adored? One is authentic, genuine, sincere, and the other one is like celebrated because of their like popularity. So one needs you know, affirmation, affection, appreciation, and the other one needs like true love, genuine kindness, careness, connectivity. You know, because one is just celebrated because they're high vibration, and the other one is celebrated because they're beloved. So the thing about the Queen of Wands is that she's not getting true, authentic, genuine, sincere love. She's getting some kind of fake idolatry, especially when there's a five out, unfortunately, that gives you a lot of negative meaning there. So, okay, with the devil too. So somebody could be um, illusionary. They could be sick. They could be a little bit crazy. I'm sorry, when I see the Five of Pentacles, the Devil, and the Queen of Cups, it can tell me a lot about mental illness. And we're dealing with the eighth house here with the Eight of Cups. So somebody has been left. We had to walk away. We, us, the one watching, had to walk away from somebody that had a foothold, a stronghold that was binding, okay? The Death and the Devil card means inevitable conflict, but it does mean that karma is ending. So we were under some kind of spell, illusion, something of that nature. We could have been operating under something that was false. And then the situation remedied itself, meaning we kind of came out of that delusion and like something emerged and a bubble burst. Because there were seeds planted here. So there was some kind of agenda with something that we were connected to. Now, that would have been feelings of connectivity. So it would have been a social group. It could have been a place where we had to qualify, like a job. Maybe we need to go and qualify for some kind of technical skills. Or we were in a connection, maybe even a relationship with the Two of Cups and all these queens. Feel like somebody, though, adores us. Because we're dealing with some energies here. So let's talk about it for a second. We could be dealing with an Aries moon. We could be dealing with a Cancer moon. We could be dealing with a Cancer rising. And if there is a Cancer rising, that person also has their Venus in Cancer. So that would mean the Venus is in the first house. Venus in the first house is a magnetic attraction point. So that can elicit obsession. And with the Death card, this is somebody who's making a lot of roads towards us. They're obsessed with us. And for some reason, they're forced to kind of walk away, leave it alone, and they're not able to. And it brings some kind of, I just heard the word, somebody's kind of stuck in a hard place where they might want to end things for themselves in the worst kind of way. And that's the eighth house as well. During the Scorpio full moon, it's the most amount of suicides. So, La Peso, the hangman, you know, they're stuck obsessing. They're not able to get out from underneath it. And I'm hearing the word papadensu. So this kind of obsession doesn't end well. And we're going to have to deal with sadness in order to get away from this. So it can be that the other person harms themselves. It can be that we need to take an action that we know is going to hurt the other person. Filing for divorce can do that. You know, your person might be hurt that you filed for divorce, but you need to be honest and authentic. Okay, let's sit. I don't want you in my lap. No, baby. No, baby. Thank you, honey. Thank you. So I don't want to say like we're the cause of this other person's whatever. That's just one of those things, though, especially um, we have power in our hand. And since this is a Capricorn reading, the devil doesn't need to be that bad. However, I have to say a little bit of nasty because we have a five. Whenever you have the 3, 5, 7, or 9 of swords, or any five whatsoever, hangman, or the moon card, unfortunately, there's a little bit of toxicity there. Now, the toxicity could have just been ignorance and illusion, like with the hangman, or the falsities and illusion with the moon card, or it can be something that's a little bit more sinister, wicked. If there's any swords, it can just be something kind of basic, boring. We're kind of slow in our comeuppance, kind of slow in our healing, kind of slow in our vibration and our affection, affirmation, adoration to ourselves, our self-worth and value to ourselves. That's the Five of Pentacles as well. It's a depressive state, but according to spiritual power. So why don't we go ahead here and see what this is? So sweet dreams. Something happened behind our back. Somebody tried to marry us in the spiritual realm or attach themselves to us in the spiritual realm. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it was somebody, because we might not be dealing with another person. So what that would mean is there's some kind of entity that's attached to us, and they're tuning in, tapping into us through places where we're heart is open. It can't even be where they're getting to us and our energy through somebody that we're attached to. It doesn't always mean a lover. It can mean, so this is a very insidious kind of energy, because it was spiritually manipulated. So even if we're not battling somebody one-on-one, even if we don't have some known enemy, okay, there was somebody put their name on this with magic. I'm just going to say, now magic is not always hocus pocus abracadabra. For those non-culturally understanding of magic, like if you're not from like a practitioner culture, like Vudun or Condumble or Ifa or Palero or Palo or Santeria or Yoruba, it could be Orisha, it could be magic, could be gossip. Magic is turning your ideas into reality. Okay. It's the weaving of wisdom. It's kind of like a multi-step process that involves strategic thinking. Even magic can be. It's a works. Does that make sense? For instance, somebody who clips coupons and they have $130 worth of groceries that they're able to get for $50. That's magic. Okay, magic is a loose term here. Okay, but somebody did magic with this to separate us from our ease and access through the world. They didn't want us to move easy. They didn't want us to move freely. They wanted us attached to them in some kind of way, so that everything that was coming towards us either had their clearance and approval, or so that we were always rerouted and led back to them. With 2 3s, there was collaboration, orchestrations, machinations against us, whether it was through a person or not. Now, I am detecting this was through a person. This is somebody that has access to us. Once upon a time, I'm detecting not anymore. And they wanted to project some type of illusion facade of this, maybe even try to make us fall in love with them. There's multiple sevens here, so that's a trigger warning. There was an agenda to confuse us, to gas us, to glamour us, to pull the wool over our eyes, something of that nature. And it's always confirmed with the moon out. So we have like 1, 2 energy to introduce, and then boom, the confirmation is right there. So if a second opinion comes, the Seven of Swords comes out, and relatively soon, it's gonna be on. Yeah, so this person was stubborn. They were refusing to take no for an answer. And they're phobic. They don't really want to face a reality that doesn't include us attached to them. Yeah, so they wanted to trap us. So a group of people got together to trap us and bind us. And it is delusion, confusion. They don't want us to know who it is. It's sleight of hand. It's also shape-shifting a little bit. And they want us tap dancing around in confusion, because at least it distracts us, tires us out, or for some of them, they're so diabolical that where that'll actually please them, seeing us suffer and struggle a little bit brings joy and pleasure to them. But there's something going on behind the scenes they're hiding. And again, it's because they want us to, and it's not always going to be like, "Ooh, this population, be in love with me, be my bae, let me boo you up." It's more like, I want your appreciation, I want your respect a lot, Me, I was kind of autistic growing up, so adults would get very mad when I wouldn't fawn all over them. Even if they would feed me or give me a cookie or whatever, they would want me to be smiley and happy, and you couldn't get a smile out of me. And some adults, it would terrify them, and some adults, it would give them a complex. Like literally 3 weeks later, they're still sitting there saying, like, "You didn't say thank you for that cookie I gave you." Actually, honey, I didn't ask for a cookie. I didn't want a cookie. You gave me a cookie, so I took it so you'd leave me alone. I didn't know it was going to create this many problems. I wish I can vomit out your cookie and hand it back to you. It's kind of like that. Like some people they feel some kind of way and they can't let it go, and they become dogged in that energy. So it's like that. Somebody wants us to be in love with them, to adore them, to respect them, and we're not, and that's upsetting them. They want us to worship them, and they're gonna destroy our world until we see them as all high and mighty. And so that's a complex, a God complex, really, because they're gonna do whatever they can to get us to obey them. They want our obedience in some kind of way because they want to direct our life. They want to order our steps, but they're using some kind of high magic for this. But here's the deal. It's not high magic anymore. It never really was, but they once were born with the high spiritual rank, and it's falling with every strike they do against us, is what I'm getting. Because they're bullying us. They're trying to throw our lives off kilter so that we run back to them crying and asking for help or something of that nature. That's what I'm getting. They're salting our road, not to remove the ice, but to try to make us fall in love with them, because they need us to make these grand romantic or like adorational gestures to them to, fuel their own little wrecked ego, and they're obsessed. All they do is pine over us all day, and they want to get us alone, and they want to get us trapped. So it's almost like I feel like somebody tried to groom us and it didn't work and it backfires. Eighth house is the house of backfires. That's what I'm getting here. So because we're alone, we left to our own devices, and we're secure in the self. So a toxic person doesn't know how to deal with an authentic person. Because an authentic person will go according to the energy, and they'll go according to what resonates with them. And see, the thing with a toxic person is they have this, perfectly meticulously curated narrative, and they're hyper vigilant, hyper insecure, hypersensitive about curating that meticulous narrative, that meticulous image. And so anyone that can see through that, or that isn't affected by that image, that facade, that they're considered an enemy. And every once in a while, one of those enemies, they're not an enemy because of fear. They're an enemy because the toxic person becomes obsessed, it falls in love, or adores them. Sometimes they want to be that person. The toxic people are usually, especially certain types of toxic people, they're usually very obsessed with authentic people because that's something they can never do. Also, people that genuinely emote, that are genuinely empathetic, real tears. You hear what I'm saying? Real tears offend or make a toxic person jealous. You're starting to hear what I'm saying? So we're in this, that's the Queen of Cups. We're in this genuine, authentic, sincere energy. We have the unconditional love of the divine. We have divine clearance. Things are manifesting for us. And we're veiled, we're cloaked in some kind of way. They can't understand why we're not falling prey to their whatever. However they're trying to target us is not working exactly. They might be even got our number wrong. They thought they had our number. They tried to strike upon us and it didn't work. And they got disabused of whatever little notion that they had about who they decided to think of us as. I'm saying they, it might not be they. It could be a spirit, because this is a spirit that wants to feed negative energy in for a long amount of time, so that eventually you start making choices that are not in alignment with your path. That's this kind of energy if it's not a person. So they're doing divination on us, Page of Pentacles, with the Magician, to see what we're working on, what we got coming on, up so they can block it out, Seven of Wands. Because they want to maintain some kind of position. They don't want us to get a leg up, and they don't want us to be impenetrable to them. They keep feeling rejected, Four of Cups. And they want to have some kind of coming together with us again, which means they had something in the past. And they also want our divine blessings. And see, so they're willing to wage war to knock down our sandcastle. They want to tear us down, tear us apart in some kind of way. They're coming at us, coming for us. in some kind of way, and that's the truth. And it's not going to work out well for them, but they don't know that yet. And again, it's because they adore us with the fidelidad. They actually have fidelity towards us, but they're, why aren't you treating us right then? Hmm? If you adore us, if you rock with us, if you stand for us, why are you not treating us right? Facade. They want to maintain some type of position. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting. They want to keep some kind of position that they've had for a long time, but see, it's matured finally. There's nowhere else to go but to the grave after this. I don't necessarily mean that. They may have many years left in their life, I don't want to say, but what I'm saying is there's no further level of maturity after La Vecchia Senora. She's already an old lady. So where do you mature after you're already a matured woman? You become a baby in the next realm, which means you die in this realm. So if something is over and needs to be put to rest with Vidova, the widower, it can mean that something needs to be buried, needs to be put to rest. And it's this malady. This is an old sickness that's been going on for a long time. And this La Vecchia Senora is flanked by 2 4s. So 2 4s means repress, suppress, oppress, depress. Somebody wants us stuck in a sunken place, a stuck place, a pinned down place, because they don't want fortune coming in because they know that it will be fully taken away from them. They think that they got us depressed or something. Maybe they left us in a depressed state, but we're not feeling depressed, and it's enraging them because the solution to amalato is dottore. So the solution to the malady here is the doctor. Do you see how the doctor comes to the aid? You see that? I have a cat here on my lap. It's hard to move. You see how the doctor comes to the aid? So dottore comes to the aid of amalato, the malady. So the doctor comes to the aid of the sick. And that's what they don't want. They do not want us coming up out of this sunken place they left us, because then the jig is up. That's what I'm getting. So it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve. Oh, don't fall, baby. No, no, no. No, 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 honey. Okay, you can come back up here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're silly, girl. When she falls asleep, she falls off the chair sometimes. She's so cute. She has bobcat nails, so I need to watch her when she's in my lap and I'm working. Yeah, so we're about to come up out of this whatever. Fortune's about to smile on us again. Yeah, something's coming down the pipe. The aid that we need, la mica, messaggio, something's coming down the pipe. And see, we still have hope in life with the Levante. We're still courting bigger, brighter, and better days. We're still hopeful and faithful in a bigger, brighter, and better future. And that's not what this energy wants, whether it's a person, place, or thing. So it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve. Thank you for allowing the privilege and the pleasure to do so. If anything that was said resonates deeply with you, go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, leave a review with your questions and a donation. As always, my name is Serene Priestess Abossi. I was your oracle today. We deliberated the findings from Vita Sibilla Italiana by Los Scarabeo and Mr. Daishisa's Pantha Oracle. And we imposed the guidance from Isabella Rotman's This Might Hurt Tarot. Take good care. We'll see you in the next one. Ciao. Arrivederci. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Das vidania. Adios.